This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital.
Welcome to How to Money with Cole and Cole.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation and educate you on investing, retirement, and everything in between. And we'll throw in some sports talk along the way.
Our mission and goal of this podcast is to improve your money journey and help you create the financial life you deserve.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
Welcome back to How to Money with Cole and Cole. I am your host, Bailey Ashbrook, with Cole Peterson and Cole Jaskey, special guest, and I am drinking the best coffee, I would say, in the Midwest right now.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take
absolutely.
a sip.
So I'm not a coffee drinker, but
We supported her this
for it.
morning. I told her as I walked in, my wife had got a notification on the Apple Watch that there was a Stella's purchase this morning. So
Yeah. We have a special guest, Abby Stromberg, the owner of Stella's. Don't forget, Caleb's still here. He's just no mic anymore. Caleb's just running the show.
Yeah, this setup is nice. I'm like almost like falling asleep over here because I'm so relaxed.
I love it.
for our listeners, viewers,
Non-viewers.
see, we got a new studio set up there, new furniture, and I like it. I like the vibe.
Yeah. Cole,
Yeah.
welcome to have you. You just Cubs?
They're doing better. They won 2 in a row,
There we go.
but they've lost 7 to 10, and they're 22 and 26. So, yeah, they're going to be about right where I thought they would be. Hopefully 500 this year.
Can't say I've watched a lick of baseball.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Me neither.
Little League, U6 baseball. We watch a lot of U6 baseball.
Oh, yeah, that's
don't we, Bailey?
intense. Oh, my gosh. Well, I just found out that my son closes his eyes when he goes up to bat, so that's good.
Oh, well, that's
You need better
that's usually
coaches.
not,
He was 2 for 3 on Saturday though, or Sunday, whatever day we
maybe
played.
it works.
So,
Yeah, he's so cute. He's so scared. Anything else going on sports?
Well, one note on the Cubs. They do have a rookie they brought up from AAA, Iowa, which obviously we know, 12 games ago, and he's hit 9 home runs in 12 games. His name is Christopher Morel. Keep him on your radar.
Cool.
He's going to be,
Awesome.
he's gonna be a
Didn't even
really
know.
good
Yeah,
player.
that's cool when it's from Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
a AAA team.
Yeah. I will say this too: the Iowa women's and men's basketball game, Des Moines tickets went for sale yesterday morning. You know, it sold out in like 2 minutes.
Cool.
The women's game, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Clark effect.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got tickets.
They're playing like consecutively, right? Or like
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
that's
the
cool.
women are playing like Cleveland State, and the women or the
Yeah.
men are playing.
I just thought that was
yeah.
cool. Like 2 minutes sold out.
Yeah, that's
at Wells
awesome.
Fargo.
That's awesome.
All right, our guest doesn't love sports, so we won't talk too much.
Not saying that. Just not as knowledgeable on it as
There
you
we
is.
go. So we'll get right into that. Let's welcome our guest, Abby Stromberg. All right, Abby, we're really excited to have you. Well, I'm excited to have you. Everyone in the office knows
Just
that.
because you visit Stella's every day.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
I'm sorry.
I'm excited to have a female entrepreneur who's really doing a lot for the community. It
Absolutely.
is something that our community needs. It's nothing else is like it. Abby has Stella's. It's a You explain it. You tell people, what is Stella's?
Oh, okay. So Stella's is a local coffee bar here in Fort Dodge. And obviously we specialize in coffee, healthier style food options. And then we also have some fun curated goods in the shop as well. So we definitely just want to provide a welcoming and creative space for our community.
That's awesome. So, Abby, I know the story, but tell our listeners. So, how did you originally get started in the bar industry, food industry? Because it wasn't always a coffee bar, correct?
No, it wasn't always a coffee bar.
Okay.
So just like all good ideas, they evolve. We actually started everything in about 2019. So little background about me, I actually used to be in insurance. And
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew that, actually. I forgot.
yeah. So I was in insurance, and I don't get me wrong, I loved it. I love sales. But like it just felt like something was missing, like that creative aspect that I love.
Yeah, neither me or Cole are creative at all.
Yeah.
Not
Can't
one
help
bit.
you there.
Yeah, so I understand.
Yeah, it was just missing, and it was just like it was a huge hole. And I came home one day, and I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I was crying, and I was just like, something's missing. Like this isn't.
You knew it wasn't it.
This
You knew
is-
you weren't doing
yeah.
it.
I can't imagine doing this for the rest of my life. Like this isn't working. And I had been talking about how on Instagram, I had seen this woman out in Washington. She had flipped a camper and was doing private events with it. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So of course, me being me, I went down this rabbit hole of all of these catering events and these mobile units. I was like, oh my gosh, so many people do this. This is a thing. Like people like make a living.
This is their job.
Yeah. Like this is amazing. And I was like, I want to do this, because prior to insurance, I had bartended and worked in the service industry for years. Paid for my college, did everything, loved it. Firm believer in everyone should have to work in that industry at least for a few
I agree.
Good life lessons.
Yes,
coming
I
out of
agree.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And I was like, yeah, like let's do this. And luckily my husband is just as crazy as I am. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, all right.
That's awesome.
And so got on Facebook Marketplace. There was a camper for sale in like by Cedar Rapids. 2 days later, we're driving down there buying a camper.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I'm like,
This story's great. I did
We-
not
we-
know.
Yeah,
I've never heard this story.
Yeah.
yeah, no. And so literally we brought it back, and we, with some family, like did all the renovations ourselves. And I got really lucky to have some very handy people in my life. And so we got all of that done. We did that through 2019 and got it done through the winter.
So
And
you
then-
were in a bar at weddings
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. So, of
Okay,
course.
so I got it. So people would call and have you as
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so we did like a lot of marketing beforehand and everything, of course, and got the word out there, and of course, emailing, calling vendors, like
sales, selling yourself, right?
for sure. And so we got a lot of events booked through January. The camper was done. We were completed. We had a full summer ahead of us. 2020, full summer.
Tough time.
Booked weddings, booked events, so many fun things. And then
what happened, Abby?
then March happened.
Yeah.
And
COVID.
Oh,
yeah, March
COVID.
came and we were getting everything done. And I mean, we all remember that time. The news was, it was happening, it wasn't happening, it wasn't that big of a deal. And then one day it was the world shut down. And so I, just like everybody else, everyone's personal world shut down too. And I just remember standing in my kitchen just bawling because
Because your job's events and no one can have events.
yeah. And of course, I still kept, it's not like I quit my job and just went all in on this, because we were
Right.
talking to, like, everyone knows when you start a
Yep.
business, you're not going to make money right away. Like, that would be nice, but it's not going to happen. But still, like, we had thrown so much into this, so much time, funds, everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? Like, just had 10 minutes of a pity party. And I was like, all right, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, what can we do now? So
What
you,
do we do
Do
now?
you think, and I know I want to continue on the story, but do you think if COVID wouldn't have happened, like the evolution of where you are now, do you think that, I mean, basically just saying
No,
things
not at
happen
all.
for a reason
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
now you're
Blessing
where
in
you're at?
disguise.
It's like, that's what I look at that.
For sure. Obviously, COVID was a horrible time. It was an awful time.
like
for
you respect how bad it was for everyone.
Yeah.
We were talking about this prior to you guys. It's a blessing in disguise
Yeah.
because you would have never
But
pivoted.
finding a jewel in the dirt pile, definitely for sure. So, yeah, no,
So you
we
treat-
would not be where we were
Yeah.
if that didn't happen.
Sparked a lot of, I mean, you were obviously doing this before COVID, but you know, the creativity that came out of COVID, like people kind of all of a sudden, like they got time
Yeah.
at home, like the work from home type, the starting businesses, a lot of like
what
side
can
hustle
I do to survive?
stuff.
sure.
Yeah. Very
For
interesting.
sure.
Like impacts of like,
Yeah.
you know, there's good and bad long-term impacts of COVID,
yeah,
but
yeah, for
And we
sure.
we talk a lot about how entrepreneurs have to take that risk.
Yeah.
There's always risk involved. No one just gets handed anything, and you took the risk
at a tough time.
at a tough
Very tough
time,
time.
but which you didn't know was going to be a tough time.
Oh,
but,
man.
But now tell us how it worked out, though. I mean,
Because you
tell-
evolved to
Yeah.
coffee
Yeah.
during COVID. COVID to
Yeah.
coffee.
So yeah, basically. So what had happened is, like, during that time, there was a lot of restrictions put on events. Like, we couldn't gather in large groups. Weddings were getting canceled. All these events that I had, literally after they made that announcement, within the week, 75% of all the events that I
gosh.
had canceled. They'd all canceled. And so that meant,
should have asked for a bigger deposit.
Yes. Non-refundable deposits.
right? And don't get me wrong, I'm big on contracts. We had that. everybody knows the business. You got to get a lawyer and some good contracts. But so we had great ones, but a lot of them were so far out still that it fell within it and obviously they didn't know this was going on. It was just one of those things. But so we did that and I was like, okay, we need to get some cash flow. Now, what can we do that wouldn't be as affected as these private events? So we were listed as a mobile food unit with the state of Iowa. Like we went and we got all of our certifications, did everything that we needed to do in that for that aspect of things. And I was like, well, I love coffee. My family's always been involved with coffee. Like it's always been a passion of mine too. Like let's dive more into that. So when I dive into something, I become a little obsessed. So I became obsessed.
As most entrepreneurs have to be. You have to be a little crazy.
You have to be,
Yep.
So,
And you're obsessed about something.
Wait,
Jenna.
my
I don't know
gosh.
about that word crazy.
I do. We're all
It's a common.
Yeah.
I know.
The outside world would see it as,
As
right?
crazy.
Right.
So I
Someone
guess that's the best
yep.
way to
Uncommon.
describe it.
Yep. Uncommon.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. And became obsessed with it. We started doing it at more events in the Des Moines area. So like, for example, there is a beautiful flower farm in Norwalk, Iowa called Rose Farm. And I had been reaching out to them, to a bunch of other flower farms, to other venues, trying to do these fun pop-ups.
You're putting yourself out there.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah.
And Carrie Rose, who owns it, is literally one of the best people on this entire planet. And she was like, yeah, come on out. Let's try it. And no vendor fees, no nothing. She's like, I just want you to succeed. I'm like, oh
That's
my gosh.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so we went out there, and ironically, some Dodgers had been out there. And they're like, you need to do this in Fort Dodge too. So
Because you talked about it prior. You're like, I'm going to go to Des Moines. People, like, and it's not a bad
Yeah,
thing. You're like,
no,
this is
not
like,
Just more people.
yeah, more
Yeah.
people, more opportunity.
yeah, I envisioned it as something a larger city might want, which looking back on it now, I'm like, that is so wrong.
You just don't know. It's not
No.
wrong. You just
Yeah.
don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I would have thought the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. And so did that. And then through the year 2020, we still had some weddings. We were doing that. We were just kind of,
So now you're doing a coffee mobile bar and a wedding, like still doing the alcohol.
still
business.
focusing primarily on private events. And then towards the end of 2020, really picked up with the private events. Restrictions were kind of getting a little looser, different stuff like that. And then 2021, we had a full roster of private events.
Wow.
Between like the private events and then like the pop-ups with coffee in Fort Dodge, we had like 90 something, I want to say that.
Oh, wow.
Like,
And when you say pop up, you basically would take the mobile bar, coffee bar, and put it in Fort Dodge and park it at different businesses, just
Yeah.
for the listeners, for people to come.
Yeah. And that was 2021 that I've
Yeah.
had that many. We had so many private events. A lot of private events we'd have like Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays were all private events, and then Sundays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like there was a demand for it, but like talk about a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I'm not afraid of a lot of work, but you're literally unpacking your business, packing it up, unpacking it.
I would
packing
see
it up.
you like packing the mobile
Yeah.
bar up and
Yeah.
driving to the next business.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start as a wedding event bar, and then you kind of shifted to a coffee bar. You brought it back to your community. It's blowing up. Like,
sure.
how do you evolve to a storefront? How do you go from a mobile bar? I mean, and if you've seen Abby's storefront, it's not small. It's a big store.
No, it's not small. And well, like in 2021, like we're doing more pop-ups in Fort Dodge, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. And I loved it so much that honestly, we were doing like so well with it. I was like, let's just like, we'll still do some private events in 2022, obviously, but like, let's really own in on like these, like serving our community coffee in 2022. So we did that, had over 120, and we kind of went into that, and it turned out so great. And it got to the point where we were like, okay, we can't serve our community as good as we want to in this unit anymore. And we had been talking with Craig at Brown's a little bit before this, like in 2021 when we were popping up there. You know Craig, he's full
So
of
Craig
ideas.
Gerard at Brown
Yeah.
Shoe Fit, who's
Yeah.
been on our show.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was
Oh,
one of
Craig's
our-
great.
Yeah.
one of
That's
our
a good
early guests.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of our early guests.
Yeah. And he had put a bug in my ear, and of course that gets...
Because he's smart.
Oh, and of course. And it like got some feelers rolling, and then we kept talking about it. And I was like, we had planned some things, and things had fell through, just like in anything, you know? And then finally everything came together. And then in 2022, like that's when we like announced, hey, we're going to be doing this.
We're doing this.
Yeah,
you're
we're
putting
doing
yourself
this.
out there, and we like that had to been a big step / fear to like, because at first you're like pretty in control of your mobile bar and all this, and now you're like, wow, I'm taking this and now I'm gonna build a storefront and I'm gonna have multiple employees.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, now you have a menu, now you have a coffee bar, now you have clothes. Like it's really evolved.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the mobile unit at all right now?
Yeah, so we did sell the camper. And don't get me wrong, with mobile units, like I'm so glad we started that way and evolved into a storefront.
It created I think it helped your brand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like it was kind of like,
Absolutely.
I remember when she was doing that. And then you really
For
got the
sure.
support from like, and it got you exposure early on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, evolved and now people are just driving to you.
Yeah,
because
for
they
sure.
remember like, oh, this was a great experience. You created a great client experience or customer experience. So
Yeah, they just used to have to drive wherever your mobile unit was parked. Now they just drive to the store, right? I mean,
people
or they
were
walk
great.
across the street every day from our
I
office.
do not go every day. I told Abby, you guys know this. I don't eat out. Like I do not spend money on. I just don't. And I'm like, I will go there. Like I will support that. I love what Abby's doing. I love what she's creating for our community.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, one thing I want to bring up though, because the coffee is made by Stella's. It's made by you guys.
So we don't roast our beans in house.
Okay.
We actually go through a local roaster in Iowa, and he is great. He's had like years and years of experience in roasting beans. Roasting beans, I mean, I believe it is an art form, and there's a lot of tools and a lot of knowledge that needs to be put towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the proper time to adequately do that and focus on the storefront. So
you outsourced it.
Yeah, I go
Smart.
to the pros and they get me some great beans. So
It is great coffee. I know
Yeah.
you don't drink coffee, but it's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so, but of course, when it comes to like our recipes of using different things, I mean, there's so many different aspects that go into coffee, from like grind size to everything that you could ever think of. But
We were talking about this too, but like you were like, oh, I'll do some food on the side. Like I'll do a little of this. Like it is crazy how much it's involved to the full package. Like the other day, because I do go there, Abby was literally on her hands and knees steaming clothes at like 7:38 in the morning, and then she's running food the next minute, making coffee, talking to customers. Like, did you really envision like, okay, this is going to be more than a coffee store? Like, because I mean, I think your food rush is pretty more than you thought.
yeah, way more than I thought.
Yeah.
And maybe I was being naive. I don't know. I guess I didn't think. I knew people wanted it, but I didn't know people wanted it this much. So of course, we had always done really well with coffee. So I was like, oh yeah, people are going to be coming here for the coffee. The food's just like a little extra pull to get them in. And then it got to the point too where like in the mornings, coffee, breakfast sandwiches, different things like that. And then lunch, we're like a full blown restaurant.
Yeah.
And then, in the afternoon, it's so crazy how many people drink coffee in the afternoon. I guess it's not that crazy because I'm one of them. But
I can't,
but yeah, so many people go, and then
Well,
in the
and for
afternoon-
people that don't drink coffee like me, I've been to Stella's for lunch numerous times, and I don't drink coffee. So
No,
That's
yeah,
my point,
We have
like,
so
you-
many other things too,
Yeah.
like teas, and we have different like organic, non-GMO, like refreshment styles, like lemonades, hibiscus, green tea, black tea, like just everything that you could think of.
And you've already expanded. Like you've already expanded your menu. Now you're doing patio. You already expanded your hours. You expand to online ordering. Like it's growing very fast. And I told Abby this. Like I feel like a lot of times people grow so fast they kind of miss the service size or things get lost in translation with team. So how did you feel like you're doing? Because I feel like your team's really well trained for being so new. I mean, you're not going off any franchise or anything. You're creating everything your own. So like, how do you keep that focus, like that customer service?
That's a good
aspect?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very picky about who we hire. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But because that is the main thing, an experience.
What are some of the traits? You say picky, you just like maybe like you're like, hey, you meet someone right away. What is a trait that you're kind of looking for? That's like,
well, Bailey knows me. I'm very eccentric, and I just love that. I'm also like, obviously I'm very aware there are other factors involved, but like, I guess I approach the day and I'm like, okay, I want to be happy today. Like, let's come in with that mentality. And just like,
That's the vibe in there too.
Yes,
and that
that's
comes
what
from
we
the
were
top.
talking-
Like
yes.
that's a leadership quality of like
Yeah.
you can feel that. You
Leadership.
walk in there. That's
You
the
know.
vibe that you
Yeah.
get when you walk in there.
And things happen, especially with our team. Like these are humans, and things happen that aren't so great. But we also try to like be very mindful of our team, very supportive of our team. And in return, they have always done that for us. So it's just kind of building that welcoming sense, I should say.
I will
Culture, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
culture.
All
That's
about
what I was
culture.
just gonna say,
For
because
sure.
I've been in there with young people, my grandma who's 80, and I said this to Abby, when you're sitting there, everyone's smiling. Like it's an environment. It's like an atmosphere. It's contagious. Like I can hear people like, wow, this place is so nice and relaxing. Like I've like watched them ask, wow, this place is beautiful. Like I love just sitting here and being with my family and friends. And like, I think that's such a good niche that we need in our community that you're really fulfilling.
Well, thank you. No, yeah, I mean, that was definitely what the vision was when designing everything and kind of having that overall vision, like when looking at the blank slate of things. So definitely wanted something clean and airy and just very welcoming, and a place where, you could grab a coffee and sit at a table and get some work done, or, get lunch with your best friend, or like take your mom in there and like shop around. That was definitely that.
You see all of that.
It's
Yeah,
all
for
it's
sure.
all about client experience, and you can attract, like you said. I mean, my kids could go there along. Your 80-year-old grandma could go there. It doesn't. Everyone can have a good time. So.
Yeah.
Nope, for sure. And I guess I got that background too with working in events. That definitely helped, because events, that is like you are selling the experience.
Yeah, and it's
So-
experience.
To a wide group. To a wide
We
group.
Yeah.
talk
too.
about this with our clients is people want experiences in today's world.
Absolutely. I want an experience.
Yes.
So.
Hey there, listeners. This episode of How to Money with Cole and Cole is sponsored by BetterHelp. I don't know about you, but for me, finding the work-life balance of being a husband and father and working a job has been so rewarding, but it also can be so exhausting. And that's why it's important for me to take care of my health, and not just my physical health, but my mental health. And that's where therapy comes in.
BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service. And you know what's great about it? It's 100% online.
With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of challenges. To get started, you just have to answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call.
You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge.
With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you with more scheduling flexibility at a more affordable price.
Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/CFG to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/CFG.
Let's do a little dollars and cents.
Dollar bills, y'all.
All right, for this week's dollars and cents, the big news right now everyone's talking about is the debt ceiling, right?
It's falling. It's falling.
Yeah, the world's going to come to an end here, but so the debt ceiling, just for simple terms, I don't think a lot of people know what that means. So I'm just going to go what it is, and really what it is, it's a legislative limit on the amount of money the US Treasury can spend. And really it's all the prior obligations. It's not future spending. It's all the stuff that we're committed to, Social Security, Medicare, things of such there. So when you hear like, hey, we need to raise the debt ceiling, really what that is there's a limit right now that we can get to, and we're getting very, very close to that limit. And if we, and it's basically says, our law says you cannot go beyond this limit without raising it. And that's what they're, the negotiations right now between, both political parties are we going to, try to get a bill passed to raise the debt ceiling. I did look this up before I was doing this. The debt ceiling's been suspended or raised 88 times. 1917 was when we actually put the debt ceiling. That was during World War I.
Oh,
yeah, because of the spending of World War I, and Congress was like, holy crap, this could get crazy if we don't put some type of limit out there, because then it's theoretically unlimited until, our value of our dollar goes away or whatever it might be. And then you got a lot of other problems. But really the big consequences, why it's kind of a big thing is, right, it really can shut down our government paying jobs, our can lower our debt ratings, things there that are not good for our, can kind of drive us into a recession, whether, we're there or not. That's, so people's opinion. But very interesting time right now. Last time we raised, I think, was 2018 or 2019, somewhere in that range. I know when the Trump administration was in, they raised the debt ceiling.
You said it was 88 times they've raised it?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's not it's not a very uncommon thing. It's just right now there's a lot of different factors going on.
Look at Abby, our Stella Coffee.
No sports, but she's got
Oh yeah.
But bring up the debt ceiling, she's in.
No, yeah. There's just a lot of other different things at play right now with it. So it's just kind of crazy times.
It's not different times.
It's not uncommon, and it'll probably happen. It's just the two sides, just like normal, are different issues. They'll probably raise it, but they both want different things.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many I should have looked this up, how many government employees, but we've got some time. I know they're saying June 1st, but still a lot of things will still be able to be funded and paid beyond that. But it goes any further beyond that, June 30th, there's a lot of people that are going to stop getting paid. And then eventually, so there's a lot of incentive there for our legislators to get this moving forward at some point. So
just like anything, they'll wait till May 31st
it's the
at 9 o'clock at night, and then they'll come out.
The problem is right now they're on the House is set to go on break or whatever so none of them are going to be in Washington when it needs to happen. So they're going to be sending this stuff out, and they're going to have to be reviewing it from their districts or wherever they're at. So which they've got the power to call a vote and get it done, but it kind of piss off as a taxpayer. You're like,
well, it's very frustrating
Yeah.
because sometimes I think things get forgotten that we the people.
Yes,
they work for us.
Exactly,
they work for us. We pay their salaries, and we pay for their their people. So it can be frustrating, but it's also a driven fear. We talked about that TV fear thing.
Sure.
So always make sure you're educating yourself. People don't let the
fear stem your decisions.
Yeah, let TV drive you nuts, or let the news drive you nuts.
Oh, and it's so easy too, because I remember reading about everything. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe
it is.
Maybe we need to pump the brakes. I'm like, okay, hold on a second, Ab. Again, they've done it before.
Headlines versus context, right? Headline.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Just like anything we talk about. There's always something going on.
Yes.
Always something to worry about.
Ukrainian war,
just
or
pivot.
Yeah, you
COVID.
Yeah, you've got COVID was a big one.
Now we have the best coffee shop in Fort Dodge.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of COVID.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I got a question for you, Abby. So obviously you're a young entrepreneur. I won't discuss your age, but you're young. You're younger than me.
Everyone's younger than you in the room.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think she's younger than you.
Yeah,
too.
I know. I'm starting to work my way
The
up.
only one younger is Caleb.
Yeah. So you're a young entrepreneur. What advice would you give to another person that maybe has an idea like you did? Like, hey, this could work. What would be a piece of advice that you'd give that person to hopefully make them successful?
Oh gosh, a very loaded question too. So, I mean, ideas. If it's an idea, obviously it's always something worth looking into. Obviously, there are things that should be taken into factor when you have an idea too. I mean, obviously, are you financially capable of doing it? If it's ever going to be something that is literally going to, ruin your family or put you in financial turmoil, you have to take that into consideration. I think sometimes ideas are great and they're fabulous and they're worth looking into, and follow your dreams. I'm all for it. But you have to also be aware of your financial current situation.
Yeah, so be responsible about your current financial situation.
Don't be reckless in chasing it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to, whenever starting a business, it's a chance. It's a risk. This could have went totally a different way for me,
Well, it did for a while.
Yeah.
It definitely did for a while.
Be flexible, right?
Yeah. And just get ready to work. If it's always a funny joke. People are like, yeah, I was sick of working 40 hours a week. So instead I just decided to work every hour of my
80.
day. Yeah.
80 hours a week.
Oh, that's a good
I
week.
mean, because what time did you say you get to Stella's?
I'll probably wake up at like 4 a.m., get there about like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're there. You're going before people even think about it.
Yeah, just get ready to work.
You beat Cole P and I to the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Sometimes.
They don't have to take the kids to school.
Oh.
I don't know.
I'm just
Oh, is
kidding.
that shot?
There was a shot. But I will say this, like when you take a risk in a business, you're taking a risk on yourself. And like,
For sure.
I mean, obviously
Which is
you
so
knew
great.
yourself that
Yeah.
you would.
Yeah, definitely. Like taking that risk on yourself, believing in yourself is super important. If I would have went off of what everybody else would have told me, I would not be doing this right now.
Right.
Especially when I started the camper, there were so many people who thought that this was not going to work.
I was just talking to Cole's wife about this. I'm like, whenever you start something, you start small, right? Like nothing just explodes. Like no one sees the work you put ahead of time.
No.
And everyone's a naysayer. But then when it blows up, they're all like, oh, but did I know that person. Like I was for that person. You know what I mean?
Or you hear that, oh, it must be nice.
Yes,
you know,
must
you
be
got something
nice.
nice. And it's like,
but you're
well,
not up at 4
Yeah,
a.m.
you don't
and
see-
steaming clothes, making coffee, making the calls, putting
Yeah.
yourself
Taking the
out
risk.
there. Yeah.
For
taking the
sure.
risk.
So like kudos to you. So I just can't imagine like how much you've grown already, Stella's, from mobile bar to storefront to clothes. I mean, you're doing it all. Like what's the future hold for Stella's?
Oh,
Or what
gosh,
would
time
you
will
say
tell.
your dream is for it?
I mean, I've thought about it. I guess right now I've been so focused on getting like this location good and great and a positive place for our community. Expanding definitely is not out of the question. It would be something that I would love to do if it can be done right.
The right people, the right situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like opening up another location and slapping Stella's on it is not what I have envisioned. So it's like what we talked about earlier, like creating that culture. I would literally need to have a team, another team.
Someone you trust.
Yes.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, yes. Because you're trusting them with everything.
Yeah, and
So-
I asked Abby, we were sitting here before the guys got here, we were talking, but I said, are you the sole owner? And she goes, yes, but like my sister, I couldn't do without her. Abby's sister, Allie, works there all the time too. And like Foresight, we were just talking like you have the right people around you right now. And obviously that stems from top to bottom. So kudos to you. But like, yeah, you could see the culture you could spin out of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got, with our team that we have now, they are literally so amazing. Like I truly don't know how I got that lucky.
This is such a
And-
business owner thing.
Yeah.
You thank everyone else. You thank Craig. He's amazing. You've like thanked the flower, like your staff.
Because you
like,
need people.
Yes,
You have
and
to.
I
You
love
have
to have
that.
people.
Yes,
Great
and I
people
love
around
it.
you.
Yes.
We talk about this, and we talk about that with our team. Like great people and people who are gonna pour back into you. That's how you build.
Yeah. 'cause-
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, because it's so true. And, even when I first did it, I like refused to let anyone help me. And that is just not how it works. You're not going to grow. You're not going to get
Got to
anything
empower
done.
people. Got to find a way to
For
empower
sure.
people.
And you have to put the right people in the right places, and you have to train them properly. You teach a man to fish, he'll not go hungry for the rest of his life, whatever the
Yeah.
saying goes.
Yeah.
But you give him the fish, he'll eat for one meal. So you got to
So true.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
train
that.
them to do it right. Is it more tiring at the moment? Does it cost more money at the moment? Is it more, yeah. But in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, it was a couple weeks ago, we had a tragedy with our family, and both me.
Sorry to hear that.
No, thank you. And both me and my sister, the two mains, we could not be there for a week. I mentally could not be there for a week. She could not mentally be there for a week. It was just kind of a really bad situation. And I had a team that was like, don't worry, we got this.
That's awesome.
And so the fact that that was able to happen, that was like at the end of that week, that was a really big moment for me where I was like, wow, like we can do this. Maybe we could do this at other places.
That's awesome.
And full circle to you, because that is you. Like that's
Yeah.
like you
Yep.
training them right. That's them trusting and respecting
Culture.
you. And I want to say this because we did talk a lot. I keep saying that before the episode, but Abby's is just like, I want to serve my community. I want to give people good. You care about the people and their experience. This isn't like I'm doing this for me and my success. Like you truly care what's going to happen. And that's like why they respect you so much.
Well, it
So-
comes back into like Fort Dodge too. Like we have so much room for growth.
Yeah.
Like not just like Fort Dodge, but like all the surrounding communities too. Like we have an outreach of like 125,000 people, I want to say, like within a 30-mile radius.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we can grow so much.
There's no better, there's in rural Iowa, no better place to start a business. There's people here.
Yeah.
If you treat people right and, you treat your employees right, you have a
Yes.
good product. Like
For sure.
you walk into Stella's and like, I've never had a conversation with you like this, but I can tell because it's how we're having this conversation, how you talk. It's how when you feel when you walk in there.
Yes.
You
For
have
sure.
that vibe. Like that's exactly how it is. And that's a direct reflection of you and your team.
Tell us, so we'll kind of close up the show here. Tell us how you came up with the name Stella.
What did Marge think it was called? She thought your name was Stella.
No, do you know how many?
Our lady in our office is like, yeah, that's Stella girl. I go, that's not her name.
I thought your name was Stella too.
But you want to know what? Do you know how many times a day people come up and they're like, Stella? I just go with it. I'm like, yeah.
That's me.
Because they do it and they say it with good intention. So it's like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, my name's Abby, but sometimes I'm like, it's
Where's
okay.
Stella
It's
at
fine.
then? Where's Stella?
So my mother-in-law passed away a few years ago, and she had obviously my husband and his brother, and it was always like a running joke in her family that she wished she would have had girls. She would have named her Stella, and so this is my
Oh, I
baby.
love that.
Yeah, this is my baby. So Stella's.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's a cool story.
A great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Abby, for the listeners, I'm a little plug. Tell them where they can find Stella's online, where you at, social media, how they can support you.
Well, you can find us on any social media platform, Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram at Stella's Coffee Bar. And then you can also go to our website at stellascoffeebar.com. And then, of course,
Try
visit
the
there.
food.
Yeah, you can online
Plug.
order everything. So
What's the
Stella's avocado
address?
toast.
What's the address of the storefront?
160 South 25th Street in Fort Dodge. We're located right next door to Brown Shoe Fit.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Right
it's
across the
basically
street from
right
us.
across the street
And
from
yeah,
our
for
office.
sure.
Yep.
And you got
Cool.
live music and live painting and a bunch of fun stuff for the summer.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for bringing it up, Bailey. So we'll actually be announcing that in a little bit. So you guys get the first dibs on the
Oh.
nose.
Don't worry, this won't play today, so
Yeah.
you'll beat us to it.
Oh man. So we have some fun markets coming up. So we'll have like a bunch of different vendors. We have some other mobile units coming in, like a couple mobile boutiques, mobile home decor, like all
Awesome.
these fun things. We have live music and live paintings, different fun things on the patio going on. So it's like just like a fun atmosphere to bring your family on the weekends too. So
I love it. I love what you're
a lot
doing
of
for
stuff
the
for the kids,
community.
too.
I appreciate it, Abby. I'm excited to watch you keep growing. We'll have you back when you franchise.
oh gosh.
Yeah, for sure. Are we sitting here with the next CEO of?
Those
Starbucks.
are some
Starbucks,
big
yeah.
shoes.
Th-
gotta
Thanks for coming
dream
on.
better.
Yeah,
We-
we know your time is very, very valuable right now, so we want to respect it and we appreciate you being here. And
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This was fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have you
thank
back.
you.
All right. It is the magic within each of us that gives us the potential to inspire the world. Kobe Bryant.
Go Cubs.
You've been listening to How to Money with Cole and Cole, the podcast of the Central Financial Group, courtesy of Spin Market. To learn more, visit their website at www.centralfinancialgroup.com and follow them on all their social media platforms.
For now, I'm Cole,
And I'm Cole.
and we'll see you on the greens. 4.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associations Incorporated, member FINRA, SIPC. Royal Alliance Associations Incorporated is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associations Incorporated. Material discussed is meant for general informational purposes only, and it is not to be construed as tax, legal, or investment advice. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Diversification does not insure against loss. Any guarantees discussed refer only to fixed insurance products and are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.